Well, not only that, but I think that if eUnited had just completely bailed after the fact, then they might have been fine. But Screammmmm actually gets a little bit baited there to where he chooses to initiate because Rival. It was just one of those cases where the fight didn't look as though it should have been in Rival's favor, but somehow it ended up being that way anyway. And so Screammmmm gets caught out. That encourages Rival to continue pushing, and then they managed to find another pick before taking down the tower in mid. And even though you're securing the Gold Furies, you have to make sure that you're surviving everything that occurs afterwards, and that just wasn't the case for eUnited. Sure, they had enough burst and objective secure in order to make sure that they got those, but it all comes down to, I think, that quadra kill from Deathwalker and the Fire Giant 50-50 toss-up. Rival lucking out a little bit there, I think.
Yeah, they definitely, that was important for them, right? It was a 50-50, as you say. But that's why the Deathwalker play is so important, right? Our Rival in a position to be 50-50 on that Fire Giant if Deathwalker's not huge by that point, right? If he doesn't get that quadra kill. So that's why I think you're correct to point out that earlier Deathwalker play and to follow those chains that lead to what looks like a 50-50 later on. Either way, though, Rival and eUnited moving into a Game 3. I love this. It feels like we have a huge rivalry starting to develop between these two squads now, Taco, and it does not disappoint. Who's going to take this game here?
Fully expecting eUnited, though, to try and run back the same initial bans, and I think that this is exactly what Rival need to do as well. Keep that Terra away from eUnited. I think that Terra had way too much dominance in Game 1, and she was the one really helping to set up a lot of the aggression that eUnited found.
And Taco, there's 12 players really involved in this, right? It is the two teams, and then they do have their two coaches, Cardiac and Alphajackal, very much. I think the 12th stressed person, the most stressed one of them, has got to be Alphajackal, man. We go talk to the guy in between sets, right? And he's sitting over there, and he's like, I told them to ban, you know, he's just like...
Yeah, he wanted the Robin ban,
He wanted
Robin
ban from Screammmmm, right?
I remember, because the first thing I said, I was like, no, dude, you can't let PBM have Terra. Like, that is just not going to be the best bang for your buck.
And he's sitting there, he pulls out the notebook, he's like... I told him to better, you know, it's just like, he's so stressed, but he wants this team to win so much. That's Rival to me in a nutshell. They have so much emotion the way that they play, and all of them care so much about winning, and you instantly see it in their gameplay. As they do ban away the Terra again this time, Robin is going to be available, but they pick Chulainn for Deathwalker for themselves.
Love it. Every single little bit of it. Take out the circuit, take out the Terra, pick up the Chulainn. When you get a quadra kill as Deathwalker, I mean, you got to be feeling really
run
good
it back, right?
Run it back. There's no reason not to, because it's a great warrior just for trying to keep Benji in check. I think that I wouldn't necessarily grade one over the other quite yet, even despite everything that happened at Worlds. I still feel as though on any given day, Benji or Deathwalker could end up soloing the other. It all depends on how the matchup breaks down and how their teams come or factor in with the assists. And I think my favorite part by far, though, is just getting to see the amount of passion from everybody involved here between these two teams.
They all care so much, don't they? And I know that this isn't, you know, Fall Land. This isn't the qualifiers to Worlds, right? But certainly still, they want to win. There's money on the line here, and there's pride at stake here, too. I mean, for Rival, this is redemption. For eUnited, they can prove for sure that they're, you know, the better team here, so they certainly care a lot. They've got a lot of passion here as Robin and Artemis are the selections again. So Screammmmm and PandaCat, they know what they want to play, and they've grabbed it for themselves.
That Nemesis hover. I'm holding my breath. I can't say for certain whether or not this is going to be a hard Nemesis lock-in just yet for Rival, but Artemis this early on in the draft, without showing face to what their support is going to be, I think that eUnited have a slight favoring here because there's a lot of different potential. But this is the fun part, is Vote going back to the ROM, despite knowing that ROM versus Artemis in a pure 1v1, definitely not in favor of the ROM.
No, it can be difficult. It's clear is not the best, especially early. That's something where Artemis could potentially cause some problems for him. The trades could certainly favor Artemis too with the ultimate, so we'll see how it works out. Nemesis, though, could cause problems for Artemis. I mean, how does Artemis get away from all those slows? It could be very reliant on the boar, so it kind of depends, right? Is it going to be the pure 1v1, or will we see Ice come over and try and affect that?
eUnited need heavy peel here.
Right,
I don't want to see another tree. No more. I don't want to see Sylvanas. I understand the concept behind it, and I think that it worked for the start of the last match, but this is the way to go. Fafnir have a god that's going to be able to throw out plenty. You got the slow, you've got the hammer stuns, you got the draconic form with another stun. Like, you need heavy peel for PandaCat to stay alive.
Even the disarm could be effective peel for a Nemesis, right? Or at least stop some of the in-hands from coming in from her for a little while. So it just depends on how well PolarBearMike's able to play this Fafnir to try and keep Artemis alive. And maybe not just PandaCat on this Artemis. I mean, where's Venenu going to go? He's played Poseidon both games so far. Does he go back to that Poseidon here again in this game? And if so, is Fafnir going to be enough to keep the Poseidon alive?
There's Janus, and there's also Agni.
That's true.
I think we haven't seen nearly as much Agni as what some people might have been expecting. I know I certainly thought that there would be a lot more Agni gameplay, but I totally understand that teams are prioritizing this cripple of the Poseidon. I mean, there's always those gods that come out at LAN where you're just like, what the hell? Nobody picked this during the online split, so like, why are you bringing this up now? And it's just one of the things. LAN meta is always its own sort of demon.
I mean, especially because you play more sets back-to-back, right? You get to... You kind of can't just go in with your one-off and walk away in a LAN environment. You're going to be seeing these teams again, especially in a double elimination, so it's so much harder to... That's why we start to see like the counter picks and the LAN metas develop, right? So we'll see what ends up being selected here as the Ares is banned yet again by eUnited and the Geb. A lot of attention toward these Guardians and limiting Collis.
I think that's the way to go, though. You take the Fafnir, and then you remove 3 of arguably Rival's best Guardian choices, especially for the composition that they were trying to go for. I don't feel as though Rival will end up with a Ganesh, because I think that Ganesh is a Guardian that is mostly meant to specialize adding on CC to compositions that are already really heavy.
Right, he doesn't have a whole lot of it himself.
There just isn't... I don't think there's enough crowd control right now on Rival's current draft for them to comfortably pick a Ganesh. I think that we could maybe see something a little bit more janky, like perhaps even the Khepri or even a Sobek.
Yeah, could we see support Sobek here? That's certainly... The Plucks could be strong initiations for them. Still, though, a lot of reliance potentially on slows if they go that route, so it just depends on if Rival feel like that'll work for them, as the next band to come out from Rival is going to be the Hercules. I mean, that's another point to talk about here. What's the solo laner going to be for Benji this time? No Achilles available. Cucullin's been taken away. No Hercules. Where does he want to go? Does he want to try the Sobek in the solo lane again?
What's even crazier to me, though, Finch, is that looking at every single one of the drafts that have happened so far, I think that both sides have been getting primarily what they've been looking for. And this is eUnited yet again trying to further limit Rival with the Fafnir Sobek. There's no way that's a Bakasura for realsies. I wish people could see that.
Bakasura, Kumbhakarna.
There's no way.
Kumbha might happen.
Might happen.
Hey, if we're going, they don't have enough control yet. Is there a god that can give you more control from just one pick than Kumbhakarna? I don't think so. I mean, the Mez, the Root, the big knock-up on the epic uppercut. I mean, it's a ton that Kumbhakarna can provide for you. Even hovering the Nox here as well.
He's just cycling through them.
That's what it is, right?
This is toying with my emotions pretty heavily, though. I'm not going to lie. Like,
what a ride.
It hurts. Just a little bit. You know those pictures like hurts just a little bit? That's what I feel like right now. I think Kumbha would be a smart selection choice. It brings a lot of CC to the table, but the other concern is Fafnir with the coerce shreds right through that Kumbha passive.
Right, it could very easily take him out of the sleepy time. That's where when he instead of dying when that passive is up, it takes a couple of auto attacks. Nothing else will get it done. And with Fafnir, the Artemis steroid as well, very easy for them to make it through, as it is going to be Kumbhakarna Ra. Wlfy has played this Ra very well, so that's not a surprise. How well can they play around Kumbhakarna's setup is really the big question for this Rival comp.
And eUnited still have their mage on the table. We saw that Nox hover for a moment there, and I would put it against eUnited to maybe try and opt for that Nox. The silence would be really strong against a lot of their gods, but they're going to run it back with the double hunter that they've been sticking to for quite some time. And Rival, I think, have specifically stated...
They've called this out specifically, yes. Taco. Wow, the double hunter. Rival said, man, double hunter is bad. Going to be missing the mid-majors. If they play double hunter, then we'll win easy, all this, all that. Well, now in Game 3, with staying in the winner's bracket on the line, it is the double hunter from eUnited. Can Rival actually put it to the test?
Well, they're gonna have to put your mouth where
money where your mouth is.
Money where your mouth. I didn't want to say because I was like, well, the money isn't there yet, so you never really know. But
Sure.
I mean, they've certainly got a lot to prove, though, Rival, in this final match. And
yes.
Anybody would definitely want to find themselves progressing forward and not having to worry about going into the lower bracket. I think if Rival execute every single engagement perfectly, they take this one home. But according to my Esports Weekly standing, I had to give it to eUnited, and it's tearing me apart inside.
Well, hey, if I'm sticking with my bracket, then I got to take Rival here. So I guess we're a little bit split on the Death Taco. At least that way one of us can come out victors, and only one can come out a victor here in Rival versus eUnited. Let's get it over to the casters to see who.
Thanks a lot, guys. Yeah, this is going to be the final game between these two. I don't think it's the last time I'm going to see them this year. That's for sure, facing off against each other with how these games have been going. I think this is an interesting one, though. I'm not so sure about Kumba. I'm still not sold on a Kumba pick. But Nemesis against the Sobek, that's a good little matchup there. We already know about that one. I feel like Rival kind of have this on paper, almost.
You say that. eUnited have the double hunter composition that's found them so many wins throughout the course of the season, and even a yesteryear when you look towards the World Championships and even in the regular season. Different meta, don't care.
Sure.
Fafnir, they've got all the tools they need.
It's funny because, like, if you go back to season 1, there was a long time ago where I was like, all EU, yeah, let's go. And you at the time was all NA, and we're not like that these days. But in this game, I guess we feel that way. You know?
I was all NA because that's what was good at the time. I have always been.
Yeah.
No. It's funny because, like, I don't even pride myself on being unbiased. I just have more fun that way.
That's fair. It's definitely easier to be like straight down the middle on every single game than have a favorite or like root for a region.
Esports, competition in general, it's the stories that do it for me, man. That's why I'm here. I love to see look at where Team Rival came from. I talk about Cyclone GG ad nauseum and mention Deathwalker was once, in my mind, a terrible player, and now he's a fantastic, one of the greatest spotlight fan favorites. The transformation is fantastic. It's hard to look at the game in that lens with a fan hat on. I much rather look at the league as a whole and see everything develop. These are the world champions and the runners-up here in the winner's bracket right now. This is just a lot of fun to watch.
Well, Venenu with that second ability early on, looking to get aggressive, but he might walk into iceicebaby, who made the rotation with the left-hand side, and Venenu did not know that was coming. Leap will be available, and just a bit of poke will keep Venenu in the lane, which stops him invading into the jungle, potentially for a couple of creeps there. One thing I do note, though, just keep an eye on those multi-potions on a couple of players from the Hunters specifically. Both went for a couple of multi-potions here on the Rama, as did Venenu in the mid lane. So it's a little bit more sustained from them, less mana regen. Obviously, you got to play around your mana a little bit better that way, though.
Sure. I mean, this just allows you to be more aggressive. It's funny when you see the mana pots, you assume those allow you to be aggressive.
Yeah.
Because you can use your abilities more often.
Sure.
But it's less about that and more about mitigating the damage that you intake when being aggressive. Vote can go ahead, roll forward, take minion aggro, and his HP 5 will be higher because of both of those pots.
Nice little disarm from Mike and a good hammer to just toe the line a little bit more, but still pressure the way of Rival. The body block with the hammer throw obviously prevents it from hitting all those minions and helping to clear the wave a little bit more. One interesting tidbit, though, Tom.
Shoot.
How picks and bans have been. Obviously, game 1, Rival were second pick. They chose to be second pick in that. Game 1, they lose. They go second pick again. Game 3, because eUnited win the last game, they chose themselves to be second pick. Maybe that's the tail of the tape here, that second pick is where teams are leaning towards now.
There's two ways to look at it. Either way, I think second pick winds up being better in that either there's no character that is far and above the best character, or there are so many that you can't isolate a single one. When there's one god that's nuts, you want to be first pick.
And I think that's Terra. I think that was Terra, and that's what eUnited did in first game. Rival made the mistake. They banned Terra game 2, and then it changes again.
Exactly. Now, you say Terra, I say arguably Terra, but really nobody else besides that.
Sure.
You've got a number of strong characters. I'd rather have 2 of them than 1 of them.
Completely.
So give me second pick.
So the start of this game so far, no kills, just a little bit of poke damage onto Venenu in the mid lane at the start from iceicebaby wrapping around the other side. Everybody relatively equal levels, slightly for Rival at the moment in terms of levels, but answered back very quickly, no real difference between the two. Kellis now making the rotation on this Kumbhakarna. Not a thick Venenu got at least one of those, I want to say that.
Yeah, I think that was a trade down the middle.
Yeah. Seeing the case, but now junglers meet in the mid lane. Scream on the Ravana for the 3rd game in the row. Definitely dictate the pace. All 2 games so far, I would say. Obviously, game 2 didn't go the way of eUnited, though. It kind of filtered off as time went on.
Just need to be active. That's all I need from Scream. I said that. I said that earlier today.
Yeah.
Honestly, about a Ravana player. It was in Vision Eyes. When you're playing this Ravana in the early game, you have to be active.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because one of the conversations that Agro and I went pretty deep in, as Vote takes some poke here.
Oh, in comes Scream with the blink too. Oh, he missed the ultimate though, but the body blocks will help him out and force Vote back. He corrals him back towards his team after missing the ult. That music. Is that the music? Is that what you're doing?
I'm dancing, guys.
You're dancing to the Ravana music. You asked for pressure. You asked to stay involved. That's what Scream just did straight away.
And you know, it's not even about the pressure. It's about being, like I said, active. Ryan and I were talking about the merits of being proactive versus reactive. When you're playing Ravana jungle, just be active. You obviously want to be the ganker and want to be the guy starting all the trouble, but if the enemy team gets ahead of you and you do have to respond, that's fine. The only thing you can't do on the Ravana jungle early is sit on your hands.
And wait.
And Scream, they ain't doing
Let's
that.
be honest, Ravana, from his history of jungling in Smite, he went through this transition where people started to realize, if he doesn't do things in the early game, he kind of peters off a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
But if he gets going and that snowball begins, and it's snowball from that role specifically, that's so important for the Ravana to make an impact. Very key, Scream doing his work. Right on harpies have spawned. Ward, snipe, secure.
Easy peasy. And, you know, I make a big point to kind of ignore the class distinctions, right?
Sure.
You know me. That's actually one where it matters because Scream on the Warrior needs those levels to have the impact.
I'm not a big fan of this play here by Rival. Wlfy just used his ultimate last time, but that damage from Iceice really did a good check onto Scream. And I don't think Scream was expecting that much. Ultimate is on cooldown from Scream too, and that's a free invade for Rival, which I did not expect to be able to happen.
Great play by Rival that's understanding the damage that they have. The check was at the mid harpies. Wlfy fires a shot, Iceice hits him with ability, and they go, oh, okay. That's how hard we're hitting them.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just go ahead and walk into your front. We'll walk through your front door and take your dinner. And that's what they do with the speed buff. They go, hey, what's up? This is mine now. That's all they do.
No.
There was no finesse. There was no beauty. They walked up and said, mine.
That's pretty much what happened. You're dead on. PandaCat in the duo lane, though, now got the first blood for himself thanks to Scream's gank. Giving Artemis that first kill. He's gone straight into the Devourer's Gauntlet, so already stacking that one up. That's an important little fact there. What's up?
I'm mad at PandaCat. He threw me for a loop. I said, how is he already that far stacked up on the Devo gloves?
Because he switched the positions.
Yep, I thought he
The old classic. The best you can do is a mid lane. I think you can go 3 items deep and sell the other 2. That's the best thing you can do.
We used to, Zeros used to do that a lot. Zeros used to do that a lot.
Him and Rapper's another one that does it too.
Yep.
But with this, Oracle's going to go the way of eUnited. A slow start to this one, I would say. Rival being well aware of what Scream's going to try and do because he's tried to do it every game. So far, been successful on the first kill, but he would like more than that.
Okay, he's got to keep it up. Keep it up. That's the key right here. He's down to the Nemesis, which is troublesome. Not just levels, but also itemization. That Mace is going to be finished off quicker by Eyesight than it will be by Scream, as long as things continue in this direction.
Deathwalker going to get rotated on by PolarBearMike. Eats a hammer, has his ultimate available, and a full rage ball. Wlfy on his way too. But it's PandaCat that's going to get the ball off. Beats were late, but enough of a time to get to the sky and find the kill. Iceice credited with the kill as Scream is dancing, looking for a kill in the overhead kick. It's a 1-for-1, both hunters full. Advantage whom?
That one looks like eUnited because Scream's able to get the secondary pick off. Both of the hunters fall down. This winds up being bad. This winds up being a wash, but the fact that Scream gets a kill is actually really exciting for eUnited fans because he's the one that's got to keep it going.
Well, speed buff was, I think, just stolen away by Deathwalker there on the right-hand side. He just went and took that, I believe, on the back. It is down on the floor. Now going to return to base as well, stripping the whole jungle. This is what Chulainn brings in the Sobek matchup.
And Deathwalker is a player that needs to be enabled.
Yes.
You got it. I say this a lot about junglers. Deathwalker, give him the tools to succeed.
That's a hard life.
Oh no, go back to Collis. Oh.
Why? You were watching him farm?
Yeah, I was watching him take forever.
Listen, Kumbhakarna has one of the hardest times of farming known to man in the jungle. He can only really use the groggy strike because throwback will only hit one creep.
Yeah, he's a big boy. What an absolute unit.
Oh, that's actually a really big thing though, tuning into, because generally throwback is max for wave clear, right? And at rank 4, you can leave their minions with 1 hit from death. He's actually maxing his yawn first, which is an attack speed and a longer mez. 3 points in that early on. Good to be able to see that and just check it out. Look at how much the attack speed debuff is, but not just that, the slow after breaking.
Screammmmm, Venenu, and PandaCat, all basic attack oriented characters. What he just showed us, but I didn't even look at it. I think it starts at 30% attack speed reduction at level 1, and it stacks 5% there. So he should be already at 40%, which is really disgusting.
Well, it's a rough situation to be in again, because there's one thing that Kumba goes unnoticed for, but against heavy hunter comps like this, monumental.
It's why I love Kumbhakarna, because there is not enough, whether it's not enough or just a small amount of attack speed reduction in the game of Smite. You've got Odin Cage Ring and you've got Kumbhakarna. There's really not that much else. Chalk got his back, good for him. So there's not much else to really go composition-wise to combat this double hunter. So I love this choice from Collis.
Nice little combo on Collis, knock him to half health, but now those abilities he used, iceicebaby sniffing around again. Not really for mid, but more for the speed buff, and Deathwalker goes in, has the rage to transform any second if needed. There's the transformation, and Venenu gets ulted on immediately by Iceice, who immediately dips out of danger. Deathwalker soon to follow suit. Yawny sleepy side from Collis. Eats the axe though, and Collis is going to pay with his life for the good of his team.
PandaCat making the rotation, could have an impact here. Venenu already takes down Collis. PandaCat looking to meet up with a Wlfy on the bottom line. Look at that ward, beautiful placement from iceicebaby. That's going to allow him to do it.
I think they could go straight for the Pyromancer here on the right-hand side quite clearly now, as it just spawned, but no, they're not going to go for it. Maybe they are. Okay, I was like, are they all backing back towards mid? But Iceice and Wlfy have sniffed this one out. Wlfy has his ultimate available, looking for a snipe if available. Will he get in range in time? No is the answer. Didn't want to fire the ultimate blind. Had no vision. eUnited. Gonna kill Screammmmm! Is ripped a new one by Wlfy. Venenu and PolarBearMike could also be in trouble too.
eUnited gonna make sure to be on the bad side of that one, unfortunately. iceicebaby beads away. There it is. There's one. And Benji gonna give up the chase over here. iceicebaby barely getting out of that one. Oh,
they all lined up perfectly for Wlfy then, though, hitting all 3.
That was the moment we definitely had it, but I can't look at the player cast, so I'm looking at the team fight. Wlfy's eyes must have lit up.
That's a major's dream, more than anything else to be able to go. They're all lining up. This is the dream. His overhead kick is down. Oh, I got all 3.
The beauty of esports is the ability to watch a game that you play every day or almost every day and kind of have the same feelings. Now, when you're watching United versus Team Rival, there's probably a skill difference between you and them. But we all know that feeling of just seeing 4 people grouped up for a Kraken.
Yep.
Or somebody just standing still for a Rama ult.
That's
and
why
when 3 players line up and Wlfy gets that, I think all of us have felt that.
That's one of the reasons some of the mage players like being mid laners, is because they have those big, impactful chances to make a highlight reel play. Rival have now evened it up. The kill difference was in favor of eUnited momentarily, but once again, they take and even it out, and now actually have the golden experience lead.
I think a huge part of what has enabled Rival to be this successful and look for this Gold Fury has been their attention to the jungle position.
If Callis ends up winning this game, Rival win this game, I think it's time to stop trying to ban Callis out. You can't ban him out. They ban the Athena and the Ares every single game. He's pulled out the Geb, that made good work in the last game too. He's not scared to pick anything out of the support god pool and make a difference with it.
I mean, when it comes down to Ares and Athena, I think those are strategy enablers.
And I'm glad you said that, because I do want to point that one out. I think it is a strategy that they're going with those two.
Right, it's very different from the idea of, oh, adapting store, we gotta ban it.
Yeah.
Nobody's... Okay, a couple of people in Ranked are probably saying that about Collis' selections, but nobody's sitting there going, oh, Collis' Ares is going to 20-0 and 1 us. That's not the case. But when Collis picks Ares, he's a bead stripper, and it enables his other teammates to go ahead and do things, and you can look for those team fight ultimates. Ares enables team fight ultimates, Athena enables Wlfy and one-shot mechanics like that. So by taking those choices away, it's less about trying to ban Kalas out and banning out strategies that you don't want to go up against.
Now, eUnited, if you're a fan of them, don't worry just yet, because their composition really is one that's going to grow with time. Double Hunters and a Fafnir, then the front line of Benji and Screammmmm are going to cause some problems as this game continues.
Here's the problem, though. Talking about that Robin, 1-1-1 at 13 minutes, he did what I said he can't do. He stopped being active, and that's not about Screammmmm, that's all about Rival. They're in this position to find the tie game, or even the 2,000 gold lead, because they've repeatedly invaded that speed buff, because they've repeatedly followed around Screammmmm, because they've repeatedly made sure to keep the jungler down. They understand that they got beat because Robin was very active.
Yep.
If they stop everything that he wants to do, he's not active.
Deathwalker in the mid lane going to help pressure with the other 3 members of Rival here. Only Vote not involved here. Teleport reinforced out of Benji to come and defend this. Immediately, Rival will reset, happy with the knowledge that they get the TP, as eUnited did respond well.
Only one teleport in the game. Other solo laner Deathwalker actually didn't go the TP.
Oh.
So he has to sprint
They all
and
just
the
left.
thorns.
They all just left, and Rama went, hey, the door's open, guys. Let's go in and rob them. They take a tier 1 tower for free. The left-hand tier 1 tower is almost dead too. Rival just started to turn the heat up a little bit here.
Sure. The check was in the mail. I mean, there was a couple of basic attacks, right? It's what, 500 gold? I don't think eUnited sit there going, oh man, they're not really that upset.
Positional advantage, though, is where the issue really lies for me. Obviously, tier 1 down being down in mid and then maybe left soon means that the Gold Fury is a little bit harder to defend without having a safety factor.
At 17 minutes, when the Gold Fury comes back up, the tier 1 tower is going to be less of an Ali oxen free point.
Sure, you're
17 minutes, you're having 4 items, 3 items, and I don't think that... Black and white, yes, you are correct, but I think, relatively speaking, that it's just not going to affect the game as much as Rival really wanted to. That was just a freebie, and at this point... It's stacking up of those freebies that allow you to find a lead. I mean, Rival didn't have this game-changing team fight, and just slowly by surely, 1-1-1-1-1, and Gold Fury. Okay, now we're up 2K.
Deathwalker fighting against 2 supports, or 2 guardians, I should really say. Blue buff still alive on that side and gets reset for the time being. Benji heads back to his tower just to make sure he picks up a bit of that farm. It doesn't go for free. Down to the left-hand side, though, that tier 1 tower looks like it will fall down now to Vote and Kalas, who are grouped up to backdoor it and make sure there's some more pressure and more gold in the coffers for Rival.
Early anti-heal coming out from Venenu, buying the beat stick instead of the crusher there.
A lot of anti-heal this game, I will say, because you also see the curse tank again on Benji. In tow with being Sobek anyway with the Sickening Strike.
You know what's interesting? The cursed Ankh is the definition of anti-heal. It actually stops you from healing. But I think of it so much less as anti-heal and so much more as old school Sunder, right?
You're right.
It's I'm targeting you. You're going to take 20% extra damage because I should upgrade it, not upgrade it just yet. Do want to point that out. But when upgraded, 20% extra damage for heals. This is so much less an offensive item and so much more an offensive one.
Benji here first. Venenu, PolarBearMike on the rotation, and Benji gets forced out immediately with that ultimate from iceicebaby. Free Pyromancer, or so it might be. Benji gonna have to lurk in the waters to get away. Mike, though, still wrapping round.
Ooh, oh, that sprint was smart. Sticking around wasn't, but PandaCat already decided not to go for it.
They pinged him. They pinged Panda. They know exactly where it is. In goes Kalas with a blink initiation. Epic uppercut onto Venenu. He gets absorbed a lot of the damage. Smite not gonna find a home for Wlfy, though, but Mike's in trouble.
He's gonna get pushed and forced out into the ultimate as soon as he does, though. Deathwalker takes him down easy peasy.
I did like that ball out of PandaBearMike there. Sorry, PandaCat there on the Artemis to try and save PolarBearMike, but it was just too little, too late. There was too many of them around from Rival, and now with that pick, Rival heads to the Gold Fury.
I say it all the time. Hesitation leads to devastation. PandaCat stood there and didn't go in.
Screammmmm just blinked into a dangerous thing, and now he's going to ult away. Into the sky goes Vote. 2 snipes have connected. The third one will not find a home, and I don't think he would have found the kill. But Wlfy and Deathwalker going to continue farming up the mid lane. Kills don't really tell you the story. The graphs, they do.
5,000 gold in the lead is Team Rival at the moment. 7,600 experience as well. A fantastic set so far. 3 games, total of 3 games. As we get into the semis a little bit later in the week, we'll be looking at a best of 5, and then of course our grand finals is going to be a best of 7.
7.
Believe it or not.
I mean, technically 6 if you think about it, because the team who makes it through the upper bracket gets a 1-game advantage.
Well, I mean, it's still a best of 7 because a best of 6 would only require, you know, less wins.
Well, I mean, you're correct.
6 possible games in a series, in a 7-game series.
Fafnir on the right-hand side. PolarBearMike looking for some pressure onto Deathwalker potentially here, but iceicebaby wrapping around the back. Don't think Mike knows this is coming, and Benji just dashed. So now he's going to use the lurking in the waters to get the protections and stay alive. He turns up, heals up his teammates on the front of this tower line. Callus on the way. Whole army of rivals starting to look for this tier 1 tower.
Wlfy here on the right side pushing up, and Nemesis are going to be playing free safety in the jungle. iceicebaby making sure nobody really surprises.
Really is a free safety position now. Even I understand what that free safety reference was. Tier 1 tower now being chipped out by Wlfy and Callus. Vote joins the fray with the auto attack you hope from the Rama. Avoids the hammer out, and in we go.
Oh, Scream on the back line, gonna find iceicebaby, but Wlfy through the wall will hit PandaCat. Not enough to kill just yet. Needs help from the teammate. Rob's gonna be the teammate. Vote brings him down.
And Venenu could fall soon after, but the snipe just off the mark. Deathwalker did the dirty on the front line and now has to fall back. Tier 2 tower under siege as Callus takes up the fray. Fire Giant still available here, and with a couple of members retreating to base, they could potentially turn for it.
Yeah, and looking at Callus right away, gonna go directly towards the Fire Giant, and I love that play. eUnited pushed back into their base. I love watching this team fight recap. 57 gold in total for eUnited. What, did a couple of minions fall down during that fight?
I believe so. Fire Giant at half health. Benji and PolarBearMike sleeping! Stop falling asleep in the jungle! The Fire Giant's going down, boys! Benji lurks his way in, though, just in time, but the reset wasn't there. Fire Giant is still being done, and it's gonna go the way of Rival.
Venenu jumps over the wall. However, he's a little bit too far behind. If he comes through on the back end, he can punish Team Rival, but he's worried about being safe. He's going to play it safe. I don't fault him for that whatsoever, Hindu man.
Yeah.
But if.
7-3 Fire Giant at 20 minutes. It's not the empowered Fire Giant. That'll come a little bit later on. But it's still enough to help look at these last 2 tier 2 towers eUnited have and give them the regen to keep on fighting. I'm trying to recognize where the biggest problem is for eUnited in this game.
Well, it was iceicebaby, and now it's Rival. And that's what Rival does really well, is that they sure, look at the slash lines. 304, 201, 103, 124. These are all, and the support with 0 kills, 3 assists. These are all slash lines that are team oriented, but that's what they do so well in this mid game, is that early game Rival will usually play through and focus on a particular player, whether it's iceicebaby, sometimes even Deathwalker, believe it or not, in the solo lane, or Vote or Wlfy. They can honestly play through all 4 of their carries. But then when you look towards the mid game, they just become this one just amorphous beast, Voltron style, the Spurs. Pick whatever you want to choose that is your team unit of analogy. That's what Rival does, and that's what makes them so difficult to deal with, Hindu man, is that you can't just kill Wlfy and say we got the carry, because then Vote and iceice step up. You have to take care of the whole unit, and that's what's so difficult about Team Rival.
And with this now, the question on my lips is, how is Sobek doing? We saw a lot of Sobek throughout the league, but when it's come to the land stage, he's kind of giving too much pressure up in the solo lane to allow the likes of the Collins to start coming through. The Warriors are on the way back.
Sure. I think that this was not representative of Warrior versus Guardian. I think it's just the pressure.
Sure.
Scream was kept in check because Benji got trounced on that right side lane, and Deathwalker was able to use his pressure elsewhere.
Callus went in, and a great beast from Venenu cancelled out that Boden beads in time, though. He's going to roll away. Bit of a messy fight, this one, between the two, and it's iceicebaby that's going to get hit by the Phoenix, but it's not enough. Benji, though, is very low.
Wiggles out there, no problem. Crits coming out from the Hunters, doing well. Good for Scream, but he's level 16. Venenu in trouble. Aegis activated. Jump away. That's good. The mid lane is safe. But PolarBearMike, crit, and Vote takes him away.
Rama is swinging now, boys, and that was a dance of death between the two. PandaCat's headset is off. He's given up. He's already like, nope, we can't do this. He's not happy with his performance. Phoenix on the left-hand side will fall. A rival going for the end?
Yeah, absolutely. There's no reason they shouldn't. 18 seconds on PolarBearMike, 30 plus on everybody else.
Deathwalker wasn't, but now he's come back to the fray. Venenu leaps towards the Phoenix in mid. Benji trying to disperse as much as possible to keep them at bay. But rival, revenge could be theirs. They've managed to do it. They've defeated the world champions here on day 2.
Really nice stuff coming out from the and rival now finally showing some emotion. Collis actually bowing to the camera real quick.
It wasn't clean though, let's be honest. I mean, they came in today confident that they'll win, but it was a back and forth endeavor you'd expect between these two teams.
Yeah, I mean, these guys certainly turned on a little bit after the ball dropped there, but watching rival sort of respond, it's a nice play. I'm more interested in these guys. I want to see how they bounce back, how they perform on the lower bracket, and where they go from here. Because don't forget, World Championship, they won, meaning eUnited, and they lose here. What happens later on?
I mean, these two have a lot of respect for each other. You saw them during the interviews and across social media too. A lot of respect between the two teams. They both made the World Finals last time round, and eUnited, they wanted revenge.
It's funny because Mike actually tweeted last night. Mike's always having a good bunch of fun. He tweeted, he's like, look, we got to make a standard way to do this post-game thing. Losers, stay in your room, stay in your room, and then the winners will go over so I can leave my room. And Mike's the one sitting in this chair, unfortunately.
Standing right now, not in this chair, but a great performance from a rival. They advance to the winners semi-final, as I'm going to call it, because they won't get to the finals yet. They'll have to face off either Space Station or Dignitas, both opponents that are not easy.
Not something I wanted to handle at all.
No.
Space Station, neither of those seem like a good opportunity to find a win.
Did that set go as you expected overall? Did you expect to see a close encounter between the two?
No. I expected,
you expected a blowout?
I'm the odd man out. I didn't necessarily expect a blowout, but I did expect eUnited to 2-0 there, especially after game number 1. I thought eUnited really brought it, and you know, I mentioned that rival is a team that works off of their adaptations. So seeing game number 1, I really thought that eUnited was going to be able to win game 2 despite it being close.
Sure.
But rival, they're about their adaptations usually to this level. They cranked it up here. And that's what allowed them to win the set.
Very good set between the two. It's not all we're done for today, but first of all, let's break down that last game between those two.
That was it. Game 3 between Rival and eUnited lived up to the hype, but Rival are the ones who come out on top. So rip Taco's bracket, but not rip Finch's bracket, as that is how he called it. But Taco, I think when you saw those picks and bans luck in, you kind of knew.
I mean, I called it in the game 3. Rival execute, that draft was superior in my mind, especially. I think that the Kumbhakarna really caught eUnited off guard. I don't think that most people would have considered a Kumbhakarna pick there, but I think it was perfect for what Rival were looking for. They wanted to isolate both of or either one of those hunters, really. Ullr, probably the easier hunter to punish because Artemis has some of that turn and burn features to her, but it just all started to crumble piece by piece. I think one of the more impressive standout moments for me, and there were quite a few in that last match, but around the 10.5 minute mark, Wlfy hits like 3 people with a raw snipe over the wall, just completely blind, no setup whatsoever, gets a kill, and then iceice is able to follow up, find another kill, and they didn't get the third, so trifecta would have been nice, but it didn't.
No, trifecta's not here.
This always happens to me, I think.
What do you mean?
It's completely like unintentional puns that end up being like
someone's name or something like that. Sure,
and I'm just like, really, man? Like, I don't know. Maybe it's a subconscious part of me speaking. Wanted to go for the dad jokes.
Yeah, that could be it. Maybe got some dad jokes there in you, but it looks like Wlfy was going to be the selection there, at least in Mixer chat for the MVP. We even got to see some of the hugs there between Wlfy and some of the other members of eUnited. So even though they all want to win, certainly still a lot of respect between these two squads. And Wlfy, this is the play you were alluding to, Taco. That snipe over the wall was huge.
Imagine if he killed all 3.
That
would have been painful for eUnited. And it already hurt. And their primary example of Callus just ulting somebody straight up into the air, isolates them, keeps them completely controlled, preventing them from into the Fire Giant pit. Also with the double hunter composition, you don't have the same sort of objective secure. I love that Rival went back to the Raw in both Game 2 and Game 3 because that searing pain, not much is really going to out-secure it. I mean, sure, you got the Hail of Arrow, Bladed Arrow combo from Ullr, but even then, that's typically not enough damage to completely secure an objective over a Raw.
And there's no way for the Ullr to make it in when Deathwalker is the the terror that he was in that game. I mean, a huge part of where they were able to get so much momentum early is because he was repeatedly stealing those speed buffs, repeatedly stealing those blue camps as well, and kind of opening up the map for the rest of his squad.
And that, to me, felt a little bit odd by eUnited, because in Game 2, it was very obvious that Deathwalker was completely abusing Benji on the Sobek. It's a matchup that I think Deathwalker would even tell you he's very familiar with and accustomed to playing it against. So the fact that eUnited still tried to run it back because they were very adamant about committing to this double Guardian, double Hunter comp. And I think that this is one of those circumstances where you just got to throw in the mage and mix it up a little bit. It wasn't the play. I just got to say, it just wasn't the play. Letting Deathwalker have complete control over one side of the map is never going to end up well for anybody.
Well, ironically, in the earlier interview, this is exactly the strategy that Rival called out, right? The double Hunter composition. And they said if they play that, we're going to win. Well, eUnited played it, and Rival won. So maybe they're right. In fact, I believe Rival are actually standing by now for another interview. So let's go ahead and hear from the guys again.
Rival, congratulations first of all on your 2-1 over eUnited. I do want to take you back to Game 1 first of all real quick though. What went wrong and how did you guys adapt after that first game?
Oh, basically our comms in Game 1 were just completely garbage compared to what they usually are. Normally our comms are what make us so good in team fights, but when it's that game, just our comms are so messy, didn't know who to focus, what we were doing, if we were invading boss or defending gold.
I've always called you guys a team that's very good at reacting. You guys really identify what goes wrong and are able to fix that. Game number 1, Scream was destroying with the Ravana, and it really looked like you guys made a concentrated effort to keep the jungler down. Was that the idea as you guys went later into the set?
It wasn't really. It was more to get Death ahead and comfortable in his lane, so that we can just leave him alone and shut down the other side and then switch the pressure from there into Gold Furies.
And with that pressure on the other side, you're talking about the solo lane there mainly. We saw Chulainn in the solo lane for you guys in the second 2 games there. Was it all about giving Deathwalker more pressure in that lane? Was that the real focus?
Well, yeah, because Death is saying if he has like the winning matchup in solo, he can just do whatever he wants. And that's obviously what happened, because he just got a quadra kill, carried the game. And then Game 3, again, carried the game.
All right, less about the X's and O's. Listen, y'all lost at Worlds to this team. Y'all just beat them. What is that? Is this bigger than the 3-game set? Tournament's not over. I know that. A lot more Smite to play, but what does it mean to the next time you see eUnited beat them up after Worlds?
It means a lot, actually. It means, at least to me, it's like, sure, we lost Worlds to them, and I think that we showed now that we can definitely win against them. It might have not been a fluke that they've won, but I think that we've proven now that I think we should have won Worlds.
Yeah, congratulations on the win. Last question before we let you guys go today. Wlfy and Alpha Jackal were up here earlier. They were discussing that they think it'll be Dig in the final. Do you guys think it'll be Dig? And if so, how hard do you think you're going to win?
Dig will definitely beat Space Station. Like the last 2 weeks of scrims, it just stumped us. So I don't think Space Station have a chance, to be honest.
What about if you face Dig in the finals then? What do you expect the result to be?
Wait, so we'll go through winners bracket. No, wait. Yeah, we'll go through winners bracket, obviously.
Yeah, because you win everything.
Yeah. Andrew called it. So in the actual finals, it'll be like 4-2.
4-2. Okay. Congratulations on your win today, guys. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a good day.
Thanks.